Real estate is all around us. We spend our lives occupying, using and interacting with different types of spaces, buildings and structures. The places where we live, where we learn and work, and where we spend our cultural and recreational time. But who pays for all this real estate to be built and managed? Where does the money come from? And how can it be repaid or generate profit? What exactly is involved in the design, construction and management of our built environment? The real estate process is best explained using the example of a greenfield site. Let's imagine we're starting with an empty piece of land that could be acquired by a property developer or property-owning organisation, sometimes known as the client, with the intention of putting a new building on it. Real estate professionals can help organisations raise money for building projects, borrowing from a bank or investment fund, or by selling assets such as other pieces of land, buildings or stocks and shares. Once the funding is secured, the client organisation can then proceed with its plans to develop the land to build its new property. This piece of real estate could be commercial, for example, a factory, warehouse or office development. Residential, houses or apartments. Institutional, educational, cultural buildings or places of worship, healthcare or governmental. Retail, shops, restaurants and bars. Recreational and leisure, hotels, holiday accommodation, clubs or sports facilities. Or even a scheme with a combination of the above. Such developments are known as mixed use and have become increasingly common, particularly in our towns and cities. Before or at the same time as organising the funding, the planning status of the site must be established. Almost all types of new building or major alteration project need planning permission from local, regional or national government if they are to be built. The client organisation will also need a design team. This team is in charge of the design of the building, its style, philosophy and functional performance. The design team is normally led by an architect, engineer or project manager, and they will need to make sure that, as well as having planning permission, building regulations and building codes are met, while respecting the vision of the client. As well as an architect, the design team will usually include a structural engineer to design the foundations, columns, walls, floors and beams to withstand the loadings and stresses of the building's weight, its users, equipment, furniture, etc., and the pressures imposed by weather conditions. A services engineer to design and oversee the installation of the power supply, IT, telecoms, lighting, heating, ventilation and any air conditioning. A quantity surveyor who will provide expert advice on construction costs, contractual issues, and to manage the overall finances of the project. The team may also include a landscape architect, interior designer or civil engineer if the scheme involves new roads, car parking, footpaths, bridges, etc. When the design of the project is completed, we can then invite tenders from construction companies who will submit their estimate of how much the project will cost them to build. The client will normally take the lowest bid and instruct the main contractor to begin the work. Construction teams vary depending on the size and type of the project, but key operations commonly include groundwork, clearing and levelling the site, digging trenches for foundations, building surfaces and drainage, laying pavements, curbs and driveways, erection of the steel or concrete structural frame of the building, brick, stone or concrete block and roofing to form the outer envelope of the building, sometimes including cladding applied to a structural frame to ensure weather tightness and thermal energy efficiency as well as good aesthetics. Services including electrical, plumbing, IT and ventilation and air conditioning systems. Internal floors, walls, ceilings, painting and decorating. Furniture, fixtures and fittings. And building suppliers of materials and components, sometimes known as builders' merchants. The main contractor also has a management function, ensuring that all operations on site are programmed so that the work goes smoothly and safely and that noise, dust and site waste are properly controlled. The real estate manager or chartered surveyor is often there throughout the project to look at the client's interests and may be involved in monitoring progress and, if it is to be sold or rented, that possible buyers or tenants are found ahead of the project's completion. Real estate managers, also known as managing agents or property managers, will be employed by the building owner to look after the cleaning, maintenance and repair once the building is occupied. A property manager, in charge of day-to-day operations of managing rental properties, is tasked with finding and keeping quality tenants, negotiating leases, and enforcing their terms and conditions, collecting rents, and maintaining the property in a safe and legal manner. An asset manager is employed by property-owning organisations to increase property values and investment returns. They assist clients in choosing the best investment strategy for their properties to maximise return on investment. An asset manager may be involved in organising the repayment of any loans taken out to fund the new building project, once it is sold or rents begin to come in from tenants. These are just some of the roles involved in real estate and real assets. Successful building projects are economically, socially and environmentally sustainable, and being part of designing, constructing and managing the built environment is an important and rewarding career. At the Academy of Real Assets, we stand for increasing access, diversity and intellectual curiosity amongst UK schools and students, by connecting them to some of the country's leading real estate and real assets firms through events and work experience opportunities.